Some people move through the world like they own it. They walk into the room and their presence is enough to turn water into wine. They release work and it's instantly praised. And I'm not saying that this is because they are so amazing. It's something different. They seem to be above proving, chasing, questioning. They say hello and the world celebrates them just because. It's weird, isn't it? Because then there are so many others. The ones who feel like they have to earn every inch of space they can take up. The ones who second guess before they even start. And maybe they don't even start, ever. The ones who constantly feel they have to be more special than everyone else, just to be accepted as everyone else. The ones who work twice as hard, but still wonder if it's enough, and probably come to the conclusion that it isn't. And maybe deep down, you have thought, why those people? They seemingly walk through life on clouds. Every word seems to be like the holy grail and deserves applause. Why does it seem so effortless for them? While I have to fight for every scrap of recognition. What are they doing right and I'm doing wrong? If you have ever felt like this, you are not alone. And it sounds really meh when I say it, but it doesn't make it less true. I'm Christine. I help people to get out of their own way so they can actually create, live, and feel comfortable with who they are and get on with it. And if my topics are valuable and interesting to you, subscribe and hit the bell so you will know when I have something new to say. Otherwise, we lose connection again. And connection is part of my video today. So stick around, because now I'm going back to it. For more people than I wish to, this feeling that they need to prove their worth at every turn isn't random. It started early. Maybe you grew up in a home where love just came with conditions. You were the good girl, the good boy, only when you performed, when you achieved something, when your existence validated the existence of your caregivers, your parents. You were then worthy because you made them feel worthy, because you have impressed. So they must have done something right. And one moment, you were on the pedestal. And the next, a disappointment, waste of space, invisible. And you had no idea what changed in the meantime. And so you internalized it. You learned, if I want to be chosen, I have to prove I deserve it. If I want to be seen, I have to be extraordinary. I can't just be me. If I want to matter, I have to work for it all the time. And so you most likely have developed strategies to achieve that. And some might still work to this day, while others became a burden for you. And more often than not, that belief of worthiness, or rather worthlessness, follows most people throughout their adult lives. It follows them into their work, into their art, into every moment where they think, if I can just get it right this time, then maybe I'll finally feel like I belong. And if you are an artist, this can be particularly hard, because how do you prove something that's completely subjective? Are there any certificates out there that prove you successfully finished the course on how to be a great artist? How do you measure your worth when the rules keep changing, when trends and some vague market dictate taste, what is in and what is out? When success isn't just about skill, but timing, luck, and connections. And this is where so many creatives stumble. Because if your art is the way you've always made yourself matter, then this fear becomes, if this isn't good enough, what does that say about me? Pregnant pause. And this can set off an existential shame spiral. Shame, something that you are so familiar with. And so you overwork or procrastinate. You overthink or numb yourself. You question everything before it even has a chance to exist, including yourself. And no, those feelings do not create the best pieces or the most honest and profound work. Have a look at the video before this one. I will link it somewhere. So what do you think it says about you if your work is not praised, not seen, not externally validated beyond family or friends? You try to have something in order to be someone that you think you are not. You are trying to use your work, your baby, your deepest, to prove something that was never meant to prove anything. And then there's this other side to this, and another reason to sink more into feelings of guilt and shame for what you do or don't do, for who you are or who you aren't, back into the familiar strategy that was able to push you beyond your limits for a while, but became destructive in the long term. So you see those people who don't seem to carry this weight, people who are maybe just half as skilled, but 10 times more confident. People who are just there. They don't ask for permission. They just assume they belong. And maybe on a bad day, that gets to you. Not because you want them to fail, but because this is like you are looking into a mirror and seeing this incapable, pointless creature that is now on top of everything, even green of envy and full of resentment. This is not who you want to be. And if you let yourself sit with that feeling, we're back at the start. And if you let yourself sit with this feeling, we are back at the start. Maybe it's not them being lucky. Maybe it's really me being not enough. And on and on and on it goes. But let's turn that around. Consider just for a moment, what if this is not true? What if that voice in your head, the one telling you you have to prove your worth, is the very thing keeping you from moving forward instead of pushing you forward? When I think of the books that get to us deeply, the music that stops time, the paintings that pull us in, none of those were created trying to impress us. They don't exist to prove the artist was good enough to spit that piece of art into the world. And yet here they are. They just exist and simply connect. And that's what we would really want, isn't it? It's not about being the best, not to be undeniable, but to be understood deeply, intimately. Because if you really think about it, wasn't art always your language? Your way of being heard when words weren't enough? Unless your art is writing, of course. You weren't trying to prove your worth through your art at that time. You were trying to reach the ones who would understand you. And those people, they never needed you to prove anything. They were always just waiting for you to speak. What if this whole time your art wasn't meant to prove your worth? but to express your experience? What if creating wasn't about earning love or attention, but translating what you see, feel, and know? And what if the only thing standing between you and creative freedom was finally letting go of the need to prove anything at all? Because in the end, I don't believe we create to impress people. I believe we create to connect, to belong. And belonging, that has never been about proving your worth. It's about knowing you already have it. This thought alone can become your game changer. And I would wish that for you as you keep creating and creating from your place of relief and inner freedom. Thank you for spending time with me today. And I hope I see you next time. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.